In a small village nestled among the mountains, there lived a poor farmer named James. Despite his hard work and dedication, James struggled to make ends meet. His days were spent toiling in the fields from dawn till dusk, and yet the yield from his farm was barely enough to feed his family. The soil was rocky and the land seemed cursed. But James, a man of perseverance, never gave up hope. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day in the field, James sat down under the shade of an old gnarled tree at the edge of his farm. As the cool breeze soothed his tired body, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of frustration and despair. His crops were failing, and his debts were piling up. The thought of selling his land and leaving the village crossed his mind, but it was a bitter pill to swallow. This land had been in his family for generations, and abandoning it felt like giving up on a legacy. As James sat there, lost in thought, an elderly man approached him. The old man had a wise and serene expression on his face, and his eyes twinkled with a mysterious light. He had a long, flowing beard and carried a staff made of ancient wood. "Why do you look so troubled, young man?" the old man asked, sitting down beside James. James sighed deeply and told the old man about his struggles. He spoke of the poor harvests, the mounting debts, and his sense of hopelessness. "I don't know what to do," James confessed. "This land is all I have, but it seems determined to break me." The old man listened patiently, nodding occasionally. After James finished speaking, the old man said, "I see that you are a man of great determination, James, but sometimes we need more than just hard work to succeed. Sometimes we need to look deeper, beyond what is visible to the eye." James frowned, not quite understanding what the old man meant. "What do you mean?" he asked. The old man smiled and leaned in closer. "This land of yours holds a secret," he said in a hushed tone. "Beneath this rocky soil lies a treasure that can change your life forever. But to find it, you must dig deep and be patient." James's eyes widened in surprise. "A treasure?" he repeated, his heart racing. "Are you saying there's gold or jewels buried here?" The old man chuckled softly. "Not gold or jewels in the conventional sense," he replied, "but something far more valuable. This treasure will not only bring you wealth, but will also teach you a valuable lesson about life." Before James could ask more questions, the old man stood up and began to walk away. "Remember, James," he called out over his shoulder, "the treasure is buried deep. Don't give up too soon. And trust in the process." James sat there stunned as the old man disappeared into the distance. A treasure beneath his land. It sounded unbelievable, but the old man's words had sparked a new sense of hope in James's heart. The next day, James set to work. He borrowed a sturdy shovel from a neighbor and began digging in the middle of his field. The sun blazed down on him and sweat poured down his face, but James kept digging, his mind filled with thoughts of the treasure that could change his life. Day after day, James dug deeper and deeper into the ground. The work was exhausting, and his muscles ached, but he refused to give up. He remembered the old man's words, "Don't give up too soon." The deeper he dug, the more convinced he became that he was on the brink of discovering something extraordinary. However, weeks passed, and there was no sign of the treasure. James's neighbors began to take notice of his strange behavior. They would gather at the edge of his field, watching him dig with puzzled expressions on their faces. Some of them whispered among themselves, wondering if James had lost his mind. "James, what are you doing?" one of the neighbors finally asked one day. Why are you digging up your entire field?" James paused and wiped the sweat from his brow. "I'm looking for a treasure," he replied, his voice filled with determination. The neighbors exchanged glances, and then they burst out laughing. "A treasure? In this rocky soil? You've been working too hard, James. There's nothing here but dirt and stones." But James ignored their laughter. He knew that they didn't understand. They hadn't met the old man, and they didn't know about the treasure hidden beneath the surface. He continued digging, day after day, even as the laughter and ridicule grew louder. Finally, after weeks of relentless effort, James's shovel struck something hard. His heart skipped a beat as he knelt down and carefully brushed away the dirt. To his amazement, he uncovered a small wooden chest, its surface covered in intricate carvings. With trembling hands, James opened the chest. But instead of gold or jewels, he found something unexpected, a bundle of old, weathered scrolls. Disappointed, he unrolled one of the scrolls and began to read. To his surprise, the scrolls contained ancient knowledge about agriculture, soil management, and irrigation techniques. They explained how to turn even the most barren land into fertile, productive fields. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get notified about new videos. James realized that this was the true treasure the old man had spoken of. Armed with this new knowledge, he set about applying the techniques described in the scrolls to his land. He improved the irrigation system, enriched the soil with natural fertilizers, and planted crops in a way that maximized their growth. Months passed, and James's farm began to flourish. The once rocky and unyielding soil now produced abundant crops. His hard work and the wisdom he had gained from the scrolls transformed his farm into the most productive one in the entire village. The same neighbors who had once mocked him now marveled at his success. One day, as James stood in his lush green fields, he saw the old man approaching again. This time, James greeted him with a smile and a deep bow. "Thank you, wise one," he said. "I found the treasure, just as you said. It wasn't what I expected, but it was exactly what I needed." The old man nodded, his eyes twinkling with approval. "You have learned an important lesson, James," he said. "True treasure is not always in the form of wealth. Sometimes it is the knowledge, wisdom, and perseverance that lead us to success. And the greatest treasure of all is the ability to believe in yourself, even when others doubt you." James's heart swelled with gratitude. He had not only transformed his land, but also his life. The treasure he had uncovered had given him more than just a successful farm. It had given him the strength to overcome challenges and the belief that with hard work and determination, anything was possible. And so, James continued to prosper, his farm flourishing year after year. He became a respected figure in the village, not just for his wealth, but for his wisdom and kindness. And whenever he saw someone struggling, he would share the story of the old man and the hidden treasure, reminding them that the greatest treasures in life are often found within ourselves. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe.